And that is recording. Cool. Good morning, good day, and good evening. I have no idea what episode number this is because I had to rearrange some episodes, but welcome to the show. This is Tech Over Tea. I don't know why I rearranged the entire intro. Whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, DarkXero, welcome back to the show. How you doing, man?
Besides the fact that I'm recovering from a bad cold, I'm good. How you been? It's been a
Uh,
while.
well, I don't know. I feel like I'm in the starting stages of getting a cold. So let's just see how the next couple of days go, and then I'll let you
Oh,
know.
I watched your meetup with Nick
Mm.
from the Linux experiment. He's sick as well. I was supposed to have him on my show yesterday
Wait,
morning.
he's sick again?
We both got sick at the same time.
Oh, man, I feel bad for Nick. We were supposed to do our episode a week earlier than that, but he was sick then as well.
Yeah.
God, that's
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, dude, I love doing stuff with him
Mm,
because we're on the same level when it comes to socially,
mm.
because French and Lebanese we had been uh, our system is the French system. It's not the
Right.
American one. There is one country out there that doesn't follow the American system. It's us. We follow the French one.
What do you mean by that? I'm not really sure what you're getting at there.
The French system, like the way of doing things,
Right.
social system,
Right.
social
Okay.
whatever it's called. So my education is French, my
Mm,
upbringing is French,
mm,
everything about me is French.
mm.
So we're on the same level. So we speak
Uh,
French for 2 hours before the podcast. Then we start the meetup. We switch to English and we
mm.
throw in a few French words. So
Just mess with
because
people
in
and
Lebanon,
do like 15, 20 minutes just in French and see if anyone's still watching after that.
that's what we're going to. That's what I was planning for the episode. We speak a little bit of French. We see. I have a few French members on my
Mhm.
server, but uh, in Lebanon, the way we say hello is "Hi, kifak sava" is like "Hi" in English.
Mhm.
Kifak is in Arabic. Sava in French.
Oh,
So three
okay.
languages in to say good morning.
Huh. Yeah, I
Lebanese system.
my knowledge of countries outside of Australia is very, very limited. I know some US stuff, some UK stuff, and that's pretty much as far as it goes. If you ask me about anywhere else, I'm like, I don't know.
That's
It probably is a country.
no. We in Lebanon know a lot about the outside countries.
Mhm.
Is for a simple reason. Is because we are all curious here.
Mm, mm,
We are very curious about what's happening outside because we envy everybody outside because we don't have anything here.
mhm, mhm,
Like my current situation, no electricity, no uh, nothing. Basically, we get between 2 to 4 hours of power a day
mhm.
now. I think it's a temporary situation. I don't know, but it's the electricity situation started in '89,
Mm.
so we're in 2023, and it's getting worse. It's not getting any better. So,
Yeah,
but
I watched that video
yeah,
you sent me, but I'm sure a lot of people watching this have no idea what's happening in Lebanon. So just give like a
uh,
brief rundown.
that's why I needed to. This video was found by one of my members,
Mm.
Teddy Bear Killer, on my server. Uh, I didn't even because I don't want to research my own situation
Fair
on
enough.
online, because
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to hear worse news. He found it online, and I was like, people, the mentality today is we watch videos, we believe everything in the videos.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, might as well embed it everywhere I can.
Mm.
So I embedded it into Patreon, embedded it into Coffee, everywhere that I request donations. And I even embedded it in my welcome tool in XeroLinux.
Okay. Okay.
Like when you click donate,
Mm.
it will pop up the thing. It will
Mm.
have the video and the 3 ways to donate.
Mm. Mm.
But yeah, they forced my hand because they think I'm fishing for sympathy or something.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is reality and there's fishing for sympathy. Well, I need power to be able to continue work on XeroLinux, and to
Mm.
get power, I need a lot of money to pay for those exorbitant or mafia, as we call them, the generator mafia, because they are a mafia. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that, well, they charge whatever they want at whatever rates they want. It's not controlled, unfortunately. So, and the country, 100% of the country relies on those generators. Without those generators, we don't have power. So the fact that I'm having this conversation with you is thanks to those generators, but we have to pay the extra to get extra power. So this month, I was able to gather up a few funds from here and there, from whatever is given to me and family sends and whatever, to have a few extra hours to be able to work on XeroLinux and have the meetups, to be able to spread the word. That's why we're having the meetup on the 17th. Spread the word and see whoever. I'm not forcing anyone to support. I'm just saying whoever can support, it will be appreciated. And it will all go towards keeping the generator on and working on XeroLinux. Because I need to make videos, dude. I have a YouTube channel. The only thing I can do is live during those couple of hours that I have power in every once a week, every Saturday. So I'm like, I can't keep doing live because live hurts a channel. It doesn't help a channel.
Yeah.
Now I understand when you say I don't monetize Tech Over Tea because they're only long form videos with a couple of segmented parts of the episode. But yeah, you cannot monetize anything that's longer than 15 minutes.
Well, there's the opposite
unfortunately,
problem where monetizing something too short as well is also a problem. Where like
too short. Yeah, I'm not
the
talking
YouTube
15
Shorts,
minutes.
like the monetization, it's better than it used to be. Like there were videos that would have hundreds of millions of views that would make like $1. It's better now, but it's still like you need insane numbers of views for those videos to even be remotely viable.
I don't like making shorts because
fair.
I'm a quality oriented person. Shorts is like holding a phone and shaking, and whenever I watch shorts, I mean shorts made by users, not the segmented parts of a movie kind of
Yeah.
shorts. Just users talking to their phones or their what's it called, selfie stick or whatever. They're annoying and they make me sick. So the only shorts I watch are things where they take parts of the TV show Suits and they take parts and the interesting parts of each episode or Game of Thrones or whatever. I got interested to watch Breaking Bad. I never watched it. The reason I didn't watch it is because of me. I refuse to watch a TV show where they show that teachers, chemistry teachers, can use their knowledge for bad. No matter what the excuse is, I want my family to live. I am sick. I want to leave them millions of dollars when I die. But throughout the show, everything goes backwards. And no matter what the reason is, if you're doing something bad, it's bad. That's
Yeah,
it.
sure.
So I refuse to watch it. But now, because of the shorts that I'm getting from Breaking Bad, it's very smart. It's a very smart show. So now I might watch it. But Game of Thrones, I keep refusing to watch it because I'm not watching a porn movie. I don't like to watch a porn TV show. Or erotic TV show. I want to watch a TV show with a story. Like now I'm watching Picard. I'm a Star Trek fan, so.
I don't think there's anything.
But anyway, we're going away from Linux right here.
Oh, we are way off of it, but that's usually what happens on this show. I don't think there's anything wrong inherently with short form videos. Like, there's a bunch of channels that I watch where they do really short form, like science experiments or explaining. Like, there's this one channel I watch.
Those are professionally done. Yeah.
And they're like, shorts about, how different parts of the universe work. There's shorts about there's a couple of like World War II channels that I watch where they do going over some tactic or something. All of these are really good channels, but the ones where they're just the prank videos or just screaming into a camera, those I totally understand thinking they're a waste of time, and they pretty much are a waste of time.
There's a lot of short form videos that Call Me Chris, for example. Call Me Chris makes beautiful shorts. her multi-character funny skits. Love them.
Mhm.
There's a guy I follow. He's French.
Mhm.
What, I forget his name. His name is pretty weird. Let me check. His name is, when I go to shorts, he's the first. No. Oh, for some reason, shorts on my end doesn't. It shows me a regular player. It doesn't show me the actual
Oh,
shorts.
that's
And my
weird.
phone.
Sure. Okay.
He's a French guy.
Yep. Yep.
He makes fun of English and French. The
Oh
difference between English and French.
no, I know the.
Uh,
Yeah. No, I've definitely seen the channel. I can't remember the name though.
he's amazing.
Hmm.
He's amazing. I watch his shorts because this is exactly what I go through every day. So there are a lot of shorts that are really good, and you can use shorts to advertise your longer form videos.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
video like you want people to really watch, you can put parts of it in your short, and you tell them the full video is on the channel, and
Yep.
they click and they go. You can shorts are good, but the
Mhm.
monetization of shorts is kind of
Yeah.
on the bleeding edge of broken.
Yeah. Yeah. As I said,
But in order to do all that,
Mm.
in order to do all that, I want to do all that. I want to make videos. I have ideas.
Mhm.
I want to show users how to create their own distro. I want to tell users more about Calamares and
Mhm.
things like that. I can't do that. I don't have power because you shoot the video, you have to spend 3-4 hours editing that video. I don't have power for that long to be able to edit those videos. So I'm
Yeah.
waiting for the situation to get better. So now I'm relying on people who join on memberships and super thanks and
Mhm.
super chats.
Mhm.
So, but I'm lucky enough to have a lot of people who support on Ko-fi and whatever on those platforms.
Mhm.
Uh, but now I have a goal to raise before the 30th. That's why I'm doing the show on the 17th. The meetup on the 17th is because I have to raise $1,000 before the 30th. So
Is it here? Is the link?
not for me, for my sister.
There it is.
She's been out of a job for 2 years, so need to help her out.
Mhm.
Other than that, the donations for me are coming through pretty good, but I need to help my sister out. So yeah, going to her wedding as well. Her wedding and her birthday are boom boom.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like 30th her wedding, the third is her birthday, 40th
Yep.
birthday.
Yeah,
Gonna be the
I'll
big
have all of that
4-0.
linked in the description if anyone wants to go and hop into that.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know what you do, explain. I know we've talked about this in previous episodes, but just briefly explain what XeroLinux is.
Well, XeroLinux used to be a hobbyist distro. It's no longer a hobbyist distro. I need to update that on the website. It's a Arch-based distro with KDE
Mhm.
and 2 extra spins that I created out of for all the users that really want XeroLinux but cannot run KDE or dislike KDE.
Yeah.
Uh, there's the XFCE edition coming on May 15th.
Mhm.
That'll be the comeback of the XFCE edition.
Oh, you had that in the
Comeback
past,
of
did you?
GNOME. There was an XFCE before,
Mhm.
so that's why I'm saying comeback. And there is the GNOME
Mhm.
spin, but what differentiates spins from the official flagship is limited support.
Uh-huh.
And ISOs will be behind a donation wall because I need to pay the bills. I'm charging for my time, not the code. If you want to build it and get it for free, if you want to get it for free, you can build it from the code using the code and the guide on GitHub.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the spins, they will get an ISO every time there's a major update to the desktop environment, like GNOME 43. Okay, the next ISO will be GNOME 44.
Mhm.
The
Right.
next ISO for XFCE will be 4.19,
Uh-huh.
etc.
Uh-huh.
So those spins are for you to enjoy, but limited support
Mhm.
since I don't use them. I just created them so you can have a base, and I didn't customize them too much, just enough to make them look a little bit different than the stock.
Mhm.
Like in GNOME, I added like 8 or 10 extensions like dash to dock, blur my shell, what's it called? Pop shell,
Ah.
arc menu,
Mhm.
gestures, stuff like that. X11 gestures to mimic the Wayland gestures on X11.
Wait, there's
It's
not
called
X11 gestures in
gestures.
GNOME? Like,
What?
I didn't actually know there wasn't gestures in the X11 version.
Oh, there aren't. It's an extension.
Oh, sure. Okay, I had no idea. Sure.
It's called improved gestures. It's an extension that tries to mimic the Wayland
Right, so
gestures on
Wayland has
X11.
them, but X11... That's so weird. I don't know why they
Yeah,
wouldn't have them in the X11 version.
because they want to push Wayland more than
Oh, I guess that makes
X11.
sense, yeah.
And going from your videos, they should. Because X11, like you said in your video, because I watch every single video you release, because
Thank you.
I will tell you one thing. The way you do your videos, the tonality that you and the emphasis you put on certain areas of subjects makes it super interesting. And you can, when I start one of your videos, I cannot get my eyes off it because it's so interesting. You do a lot of research. Kudos on that. I don't read as much. I think you read book level of research for every video.
Okay, well, okay. There's a video coming out probably sometime next week about a 50-page research paper that was trying to it was looking into whether swearing in your code base improved the quality of your code. I read the entire paper. Yeah, I if there's one thing I do on my channel that I do feel proud about, it's the fact that even though I do get something wrong in one of my videos, every single one of my videos is very heavily researched. Most of the time, even if something might not be exactly correct, I've got a bunch of stuff that backs up what I'm saying. And, you know, I think it's important to also make it clear like where that information is coming from. So if you ever look at my descriptions, especially on those heavily researched videos, there's like 10 or 20 like links to go in there. Most people don't read them, but I like to include them there just in case you do want to go and do your extra research and see what my sources are and things like that.
I even used one of your topics in one of your videos as one of the topics on my podcast.
Uh-huh.
Church of Linux, the woman that told the people her company where she was
Oh,
working
yeah, that
that
one. Yeah.
but her religion doesn't allow her to use anything but Linux.
Yep.
I use that as one of the subjects of my podcast. A lot of subjects in your videos can be used, and they're very interesting. I'm not the type of person that looks for weird stuff about Linux. I already have a distro to maintain, and I have to do research related to my distro and nothing else. Because if I spread myself too far, I will not hear the end of it.
Right.
Like, for example, I'll give you an example. There's a lot of the Linux tube, Alex from the Linux tube.
The
I don't know
Linux
if you heard of
tube.
him. The Linux tube, Alex.
The Linux tube.
I recommend people to watch his
No,
channel.
I haven't. Sorry.
You see all the, because through his videos you see all the issues a content creator has to go through to find his bearings. Because his videos go from good to bad to much better. He tried to use a filter at some point that turns his background into transparent and makes him as if you had a black screen behind him. It caused desync issues and stuff like that. And then now they're way better because we had a talk. I I helped them out a little bit, but with the Linux tube is like I find my research through him. I find my subject sometimes through him. Okay, I need to talk about OBS and what you should not do in OBS to get the bad quality that he got. And he has helped me a lot with the channel. I need to shout out someone. What's his name? Beer. his name is Kabir. He's a professional YouTube. How do you, how can I categorize him? He helps YouTube channels reach monetary status. He
Oh,
creates
yeah.
intros and get a high social score.
Yeah.
So SEO
Yeah.
also. This dude helped me reach monetization, and now he's working on an intro for me and the animation, the thing that happens at the bottom. So kudos to him, and thanks to Alex for pointing him out. But you content creators go through a lot of hoops and a lot of difficult moments just to get our bearings. Like for me, I need the backdrop. I need to find a green screen to remove this cupboard and have my clothes for the world to see.
Well,
I'm
look,
like,
okay, speaking of clothes, what you gotta do with a camera, right, is you gotta frame things so it's not a problem. Like, this right here is just slightly out of frame, so you just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't have space. That's it. What you
That's
see
fair.
is, that's it. That's the room. It's very
Put it in
small.
another room.
That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, now there's what I do with XeroLinux is I take ideas from users. For example, they tell me, why don't you do this that way or do that way? I try. If they work, I will implement. If they don't work, I don't implement. And now we have a new tool coming out. Hopefully, it will be done because kudos to Dead Synapse. He's the guy working on the Hello tool. I'm not a developer, so XeroLinux is getting a lot of contribution code by a lot of people. He's working on a new Hello tool, and it's totally different than what it used to be, but it's using input from different users. So I get input, I
Okay.
ask him if he can do it, and whatever. You can call XeroLinux a community supported distro because I get a lot of input from the community. I use what I can. But the problem with community support is they contribute, they leave, they disappear.
Yeah.
So far for the previous Hello tool, the current one actually, the guy deleted the code. Well, I have a fork on my GitHub, but he deleted the original code, so I could no longer sync with anything. So he deleted the code.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the problem. But I thank everyone who contributes. But yeah, you have to know this going in. When you want the community to help, don't expect them to help you all the time.
Yep.
Expectation is to limit your expectation. Get whatever you can from that person, and once they disappear, use what you have. Don't ever. I say this to everyone. Don't blame people who help you and then disappear. Don't speak ill about them because they gave you what they can.
Yep.
They're not getting paid. They're giving you their free time for free. So yeah, be thankful. I tell everyone, be thankful for whatever you get.
Well, this goes
I am
in.
thankful for whatever I get, and I live with it. Like I try to learn whatever, like the tool that the guy deleted the code of. I know enough to keep it up to date.
Yep. Okay.
So I want to add packages to the packages installer. I want to add scripts. I cannot add buttons because I don't know how to add buttons on the tool, but I can modify the existing scripts. I know where they are, and I have the PKG build. So yeah, this is what I do. I rely on the community to give me stuff. I have given everything I know. Like the other day, I had a what's it called, Pipewire update that broke everything.
It's fun.
It's
Yep.
like it's the usual. But me, I've been on the same installation of XeroLinux since December, the December release. So no issues whatsoever. Like I had like maybe 6 or 7, maybe 10 Pipewire updates, no issues. This comes in and everything switches around. The microphone is an output. The I don't know, things switched around. So it took me 4 hours to fix that.
Jeez.
And people think that I don't, because I'm a KDE simp, super simp, that I don't see all the issues of KDE. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Just go to the audio settings in the KDE settings panel. You are going to have a heart attack because of you got maybe how many 12 sliders. I'm like, why? And did you watch the Nicolo video where he started talking about him being envious of GNOME? KDE
I
developer
don't
envies
believe so.
GNOME, I think it's called.
Um,
His previous to last video.
previous and last video.
The one before KDE is not a desktop environment.
The GNOME. Wait, no. What is it? GNOME
Nicolo.
professional GNOME 40 for the update KDE needs. Is that it?
Yes, that's the one.
No, I've not seen that one yet. No.
Yeah, you should watch it.
His production quality is way better than mine. Jeez. I've not watched one of his videos in a while. I didn't realize like he had this fancy
I follow
background now.
I follow him because he's got a point of view of somebody from the inside of KDE. Basically.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have him on my show when I get back
Mhm.
from Serbia. So I love this kid. He's funny.
Mhm.
He's got limited inside view. He's
Mhm.
a KDE panel guy, as I call him, the KDE panel guy.
Yeah.
Who gets a little bit of tidbits from here and there. He's constantly on the KDE Telegram, of course, and the new KDE Discuss. But yeah, I can get a few insider opinions. Like for example, when it comes to LatteDoc, he's the one who told me that they're picking it up as a KDE official KDE application at some point. He never pointed out when. Because right now they have so much on their plate. I don't think they're gonna pick it up anytime soon. They have Qt6, they have Plasma 6, they have way too many things. But he told me that for it to be picked up by the KDE team, it has to have at least one maintainer. It cannot. They don't pick up a project without any maintainer.
Right, that makes sense.
Oh,
Otherwise, you're just taking on the maintenance burden without really.
Yeah, they need
anyone to help
someone.
out. Yeah.
So, but it's still receiving community support. So there are commits from time to time. He even mentions it in his video, in his rising themes video, whatever. But yeah, XeroLinux is very conservative on what we use. I am very opinionated on what to include on XeroLinux. I don't want to include too much because I don't want to become Garuda.
Right.
I've tried to be Garuda, and I saw people crying and tears of blood, as we call them. Bloated. There's even some people who call any distro with one text editor more than what comes with a desktop environment bloat.
Look, at the end of the day,
600 kilobytes more, and it's bloat.
At the end of the day, there's gonna be someone that calls it bloat. No matter what you try to do, there is a GUI bloat. It's KDE bloat. Why are you not using DWM bloat?
No, there's somebody who replied to those people in a very good way. Stick to the TTY.
Exactly.
You don't want bloat? Stick to the TTY.
Computers are bloat. Use notepads.
But anyway, I learned a lot being in the Linux community. I started because people told me grow a thick skin. I never understood what the meaning of the expression until I got into the Linux community, and I started posting about the issues on the Arch forums.
Yep. The fun place.
Garuda. Yeah, I saw what they meant. So like some people keep like some people on other videos who talk about me. They sometimes say, "Oh, that guy who keeps asking for donations, that guy, whatever." I don't see them anymore. The way Linus Tech Tips doesn't see ads on websites because he grew numb to them. Well, that's the way I grew numb to negative. Unless it's constructive criticism, I am numb to them.
Well, you did that a lot quicker than I
And
did. It took me a couple of years to get to that point.
it took me a few months.
Yeah, I ever since I started the channel, there's always been people leaving. The most common one I get is just dumb comments about my beard. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I've heard every single insult you can possibly think of. Like, okay, what are we doing here?
For me, the most negative is my distro being bloat, is being Garuda. He's trying to mimic Garuda. He's Garuda. What's so different between XeroLinux and Garuda? It looks exactly like Garuda. Garuda this, Garuda that. And there's another thing I get is Garuda told us that Latte dock is no longer maintained. They switched to the KDE panel. I was like, you need to clarify which Latte package is out of date and no longer maintained. We're like, what do you mean? I was like, the Git package, Git master branch package is still being maintained by the community. But the regular package, Latte dock, regular package, yes, it's no longer being maintained because the maintainer quit his job. He's no longer maintaining it. They don't know the difference between Git master branch and the regular package. It's like Hyperland and Hyperland Git. Hyperland is the stable version, and Hyperland Git is the constantly moving one that I had to.
I wouldn't say stable. Stable may not be the not being updated every second of the day.
Well, Vuxry told me during the interview that I did with him. He was like, we push once every week or two to the stable package to the binary because they had Hyperland-bin and Hyperland-git. Now they have Hyperland, regular Hyperland that is on the Arch repositories. I think it's the binary that's moved to the Arch repositories. But as you said, it's still not stable because it's a project that's ongoing, and it will. I don't think it will stop being ongoing until Wayland reaches somewhat
I don't know,
more sustainable status.
Like, there's always going to be extra little things you can add, but
always no.
I don't know.
Is always.
Yeah, I don't know what Vaxry's end goal with the project is. For anyone who wants to know, just before this episode, I had a major problem with Hyperland. My portals stopped working. Like, they were showing nothing in OBS. It was showing the wrong things when I selected it. Then my entire desktop locked up. I couldn't even change TTYs, and I had to reboot my entire system. So, I like Hyperland, but it's very rough still. I don't know what caused the problem, so I don't know what I'm supposed to be reporting.
Well, we both know Vuxry, so you can just talk to Vuxry.
I could just ping him and be like, hey, this crashed. Maybe I'll find the logs, send it to him.
Well, and I'm gonna say something great about Vuxry. Although he's in the teenage phases of Hyperland. He's a good kid because because I told him that in 2024, whenever I can afford an AMD card instead of an NVIDIA one, because NVIDIA and Hyperland. Although there's
NVIDIA
an NVIDIA
and Wayland
package,
generally is a bit rough.
Although there's a package called Hyperland NVIDIA, but he made it clear it wasn't maintained by him. But there are guides on the wiki, on the Hyperland wiki, written by NVIDIA owners that run Hyperland without issues on NVIDIA. But it's jumping through hoops. Instead of having it just work on AMD, just work on AMD. But I was like, okay, there will be XeroLinux with a window manager, because there's a lot of users who keep requesting a window manager based version of XeroLinux. I told them, all right, but it's not going to be any window manager. It has to be Hyperland.
Okay.
Because XeroLinux is a special distro. It's not any distro. So when we don't have the usual choice of window managers.
Yeah, we're not
No
gonna do
i3, no
i3 here.
DWM, no BSBWM,
Yeah,
none
yeah.
of that. There's a lot of distros with those. We need a distro. Okay, XeroLinux has Hyperland,
Does
but
it? Oh, that's cool.
not everyone, and even Eric is very hesitant on maintaining Hyperland. So I was like, it's going to be Hyperland, and guess what we decided to call it?
What'd you call it?
Hyper Zero.
Hype. It works.
Someone suggested Zero Hype.
Zero. Yeah, I like that
I was
one.
like, hype is I don't know. The overwhelming choice went to Hyper Zero. Hyper, the way he spells hyper without the e.
Yeah.
And for Zero XFCE, for example, somebody suggested Xerox.
I
told him I'm not here to get sued. No, thank you.
Yeah, maybe you don't do that one. You could call it.
Somebody suggested Zero Land.
Zero Land.
I was like, Zero Land sounds like what's it called? Tomorrowland, the dance and things that dance outdoor spectacle that happens for like a week. Outdoors. I was like, nah. Trance was back in when I was young. I don't like that music anymore. Now I'm more into hardcore, but hardcore is not for the young of heart. Lighthearted, because it requires shaking your head and knocking your head. Because I did it once when I was young. I used to listen to hardcore. I shook my head so hard I knocked it against the floor. And I went out cold. Went out cold. They had to wake me up. I was like, what happened? They were like, you knocked your head. You're lucky you didn't split it open. Yeah, not for the lighthearted. But anyway, Xerox, no, it's Zero XFCE. I'm not switching from that. But Hyper Zero is kind of cool. Hyper Zero.
I also like the name you got for GNOME with Zero G. That's a good
Zero
name.
G is nice. Yeah, I wanted to call Zero XFCE Zero CE, but it's two letters that mean nothing. So
yeah, that's true.
So the person who came up with the idea, he was like Zero CE, Zero FCE. He wanted because the X in Zero is for XFCE, so Zero FCE.
Yeah, that could work.
I was like, yeah, but the name is weird.
Yeah, it doesn't flow. It doesn't flow that well, does it?
It doesn't flow on the tongue. So Zero XFCE is fine.
XFCE is just a hard name to deal with, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, and it's a hard desktop to deal with as well. So let's be honest. It's very simple. Yes, if you use it as it is. But if the moment you start trying to modify XFCE, we went from polybar to two panel to we were treating it because the XFCE panel is so stupid.
I've never actually
and I'll
used
explain why it's stupid. In XFCE, in the latest update of XFCE, I'm not talking about the previous one. 4.17 was okay. 4.18, don't know what they did. Apparently, due to their Wayland code, because they're starting to move to
they
Wayland.
are starting to work for Wayland, yeah.
They killed the panel. In what way? As soon as you move it and make it floating, because we like floating panels.
Sure.
The moment you make it floating, it stops adapting to different resolutions. So if you make it on 1080p, a few pixels short from the edges, if somebody runs this configuration on an ultra wide, the panel's gonna look this big. So as soon as you make it touch the upper edge, it adapts. It wakes up again. So we needed to find something different.
So I guess the same thing would happen if
polybar.
I guess the same thing would happen if you're using a 4x3 display then, where it would just stretch off the edges of the screen.
Yeah. So tried polybar.
Polybar's nice.
Polybar is a window manager thing, not a desktop environment thing. Oh, in
It
order to
requires a
use
bit of tweaking,
Polybar,
but it's a
a lot of tweaking.
yeah,
We tried to implement the whisker menu in
whisker
Polybar
menu.
because I like the whisker menu.
What is the whisker menu?
The whisker menu is XFCE's menu, right?
Uh, oh yeah, that one.
you're
Yeah,
not.
okay.
Yeah, you've been away from desktop environments for far too long, my
No,
friend.
I've never heard the term whisker menu. I see. I
But
see.
yeah, so we tried to implement the whisker menu in Polybar,
Mhm.
but because Polybar is a window manager thing that spawns everything in the center of the screen, it spawned whisker menu in the center of the screen. It
Mhm.
wasn't like click and it goes down like a regular start app menu.
Uh-huh.
So you cannot give it even coordinates. Then DT comes along and he suggests X menu.
Mhm.
Saw what X menu was. That's not what we want. X menu is kind of like the XFCE menu that you have on the desktop when you right click on the desktop.
Uh-huh.
Just moved, and you can give it coordinates to work with Polybar. Then we discovered that Polybar had bugs with XFCE.
Oh.
Big deal-breaking bugs. It wouldn't go transparent without the use of some sort of PyCom, and to get a PyCom that works in virtual machines, you have to use a fork called PyCom ibhag1, not the Jonaberg one.
Mhm.
The Jonaberg doesn't work in a virtual machine. ibhag1 does.
I forgot how much of a mess PyCom was.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, we need to ship something stable. So we went back to the XFCE panel. We stuck it to the top. Okay, we cannot have rounded corners because it's not floating. And we're like, okay, we went back to the drawing board and we just changed the theme. We're using something called the way I call it is the name is so weird. I'll tell you what the name of it is.
Yeah, if you can find a link to it or something, or just put the name in Discord, I can bring it up.
Yeah, I'll give you a link to it. I have it because it's part of the discussion. Store.kde. That's for the icon.
Ooh. Easy.
Kanagawa GTK theme.
Kanagawa.
I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. Okay, it's on XFCE. Look.
XFCE. Look. Kanagawa.
Sent it to you on Discord.
I see. Here we go.
It's kind of like Dropbox, but a tweaked Dropbox.
Oh, it's Grovbox, but not bad. actually kind of like this.
Yeah, that's what we used, and it's by
It's fancy looking.
Gusto Korspavr. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry I butchered your name.
You butchered the name of the theme, so you're off to a good start anyway.
What's his name? Fausto Korpsvart.
Probably better than I would do.
Anyway,
Yes.
it's a tweaked Dropbox theme.
Mhm.
The icon pack you see in there is Kanagawa icon theme. It comes part of it, but we're not using that icon theme because it's missing a lot of icons.
Right.
A lot. It's still in the early stages, so we opted to use something you might be familiar with. Tela Circle Icon Theme Brown. The Tela Circle Icon theme is very famous because it's got like 16 different iterations, color schemes, or whatever.
Let's see.
And I do maintain them on my repository, so I have to build 17 different packages because there's the all-in-one package as well.
I've not used these, but I've certainly seen them.
Everybody uses them. Everybody and their mother because there's always like the Nordic, all Nordic-based themes. A lot of I keep saying all. A lot of Nordic Nord themes use the Nord color scheme of Tela because it's a very complete icon theme. It's over 300 megabytes, dude. It's a massive icon theme package. It's constantly being maintained, and I maintain the Git repository one, the Git master branch one. I don't use the regular package because I want to get every update.
Mhm.
So we use the brown version of that. So I will send you a screenshot of the XFCE edition the way it looks right now,
Okay.
so you can show it if you want.
I just started
Okay.
scrolling through the icon themes, and I have no idea why some of these even exist. There is a My Little Pony icon theme.
Yeah, I know. When you go looking, when you go into that rabbit hole, you find a lot of weird shit.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
insane.
am sending you a screenshot of the XFCE version if you want to show it.
Ooh, that does look nice.
Those ignore the icons in the dock. Plank is refusing for some reason to reload the theme.
Yeah.
But once I build the ISO, it's gonna be fixed. For
Uh-huh.
some reason, it's stuck on the old icon theme cache. Although we uninstalled the old icon theme, but Plank being Plank
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been maintained in years. So.
XFCE,
You expect that?
you know.
It's those are the brown icon themes we're talking about. They look way better and they're more complete. So
Yeah, those actually do look kind of nice. Huh. Yeah, when
Tela comes to the rescue always. Like we have a Dracula Rise for the KDE version. We use the Dracula color scheme of Tela.
Mhm.
Oh, and
Okay.
did I forget to mention that the upcoming KDE release will be a Catpuccine Puke?
I don't know what you just said.
You know Catpuccine, right? The Catpuccine theme.
Capuch-
The Catpuccine. It's like Dracula. It's as big as Dracula. If not bigger.
I don't know what that. What? Am I
Okay.
uncultured?
It's Catpuccine. Catpuccine. They have a website.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, let's have a look here.
I'll send you a link.
Yes, please do.
Catpuccine-website.versal.app, whatever that is. But that's the official website.
Cappuccino is a community-driven pastel theme that aims to be the middle ground between low and high contrast themes. Okay. I am so out of the loop with what themes are popular, what themes exist. My theme is Nord, modified 5 years ago, and I've never thought about it since. So I have no idea what people are using.
I'm using Layan, and I haven't moved away from it. But every year on the anniversary, because this release will be the second anniversary release. I can't believe I've been doing this for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
But it will be the second anniversary release. Every year, I completely change the look.
Gotta keep it
now,
fresh.
I'm sending you a few screenshots.
Okay.
Tease. I'm just pasting them in the chat because there are a couple.
Okay.
Wow, I like. Somebody's working on the ASCII code for terminal right now for XeroLinux,
Ooh.
and they're sending a screenshot. But yeah, image
Are there
and
pictures of it?
paste last.
Why are there no pictures of it?
All right.
Oh my god, why are there no...
So
Okay, there we go.
this is the upcoming release. It's done. I'm just waiting for May 15th to release it.
That is way cleaner than what was happening before.
Yep, it's Catpuccine Puke, as I call it. It's a different look.
It's definitely a different look.
Yeah, it's using Catpuccine Mauve. Mocha Mauve. Sorry, Mocha Mauve. Because there's latte, mocha, macchiato.
Yeah. Latte, frappe, macchiato, and mocha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different iterations of each as well.
Of course there is.
And for sake of consistency, if you look, we go from Calamaris to Grub all the way to the desktop, lock screen, what do you call it, SDDM. Everything has a consistent look.
The one
It
thing
doesn't
I
move. It doesn't budge.
the one thing I don't like, I think most of it looks good. The one thing that feels out of place to me is the text being used in the bar.
Which one?
In like the title bar. I'm not
Upstairs where there's the clock and everything.
Yeah, where that is, yeah. That's the one. I don't know what font you would use instead, but that just something about that just stands out to me that feels out of place.
That's constructive criticism. I might look what other font I can use. Yeah.
But everything else,
Because,
I think everything else comes together really well. But that one, especially because a
Yeah,
lot of stuff is
it's-
like really curved, that one feels a bit too businessy. I don't know if that makes any sense as a descriptor.
Yeah, I
but-
know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's finished. I might just modify that before release if I find the font. Because the font that was used in screenshots was used in and for the wallpapers and stuff was
Yep.
used in GIMP.
Mm.
Or what was it? The other one. What's the other application? Forgot.
Critter?
It's not me who made them. I have a guy contributing. He created the images.
Ah,
I
okay.
did. Even the image, the desktop that says second anniversary, all these lines, he created. It took him a day to create, but he created it because it's a lot of lines. If I show you the work he's been doing, it's crazy. But he created there. I think he used the font that we got from a website. We downloaded a separate font from a website. But yeah, you notice the consistency. The color scheme is
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
Icons are across the board. So what makes XeroLinux different than other distros is the consistency, because a lot of distros, with the exception of Manjaro, because Manjaro are consistent because they haven't changed the theme in like 20 years. Well, they added the different, what they call it, dynamic wallpapers. That's all they changed in their 20 years. But for XeroLinux, every year it will change look, and it will always be consistent. People know what to expect. We took consistency to another level where we made every release even. So KDE, GNOME, and XFCE have a bar on top, a dock at the bottom. That's the XeroLinux layout. Not the theming. The theming is different across spins, but the
That
main
would be a new
layout
level
is
of
the same.
consistency if you manage to have like a consistent theme across everything.
You might do that at some point.
That seems like a lot of
but
work.
The problem is you cannot theme GDM.
Right.
You know, there is an app called GDM Settings, but that's a hack.
Right.
I'm not going to use hacks on XeroLinux. XFCE uses LightDM. LightDM is not SDDM, so we cannot do exactly the same things. Because different things use different apps, different release desktop environments use different apps, it cannot be as consistent. But we aim for consistency with every release. Each release will be very consistent with itself. So, even Calamaris, if you notice, everything became on top. We no longer have a vertical. The first screenshot I sent, you see Calamaris. Now it has a vertical tab, a horizontal tab menu.
I didn't even realize that was still Calamaris. Oh, that looks really nice, actually.
Yeah, so Calamaris now has a horizontal tab system instead of a vertical one. It doesn't feel like Calamaris anymore.
No, it looks completely different. Calamaris is really cool and a really like useful project, but I just need to say that Calamaris looks absolutely awful. Like it's really badly themed. It's very functional, but I just don't like the look. What's been done here looks really good.
That's why I made it look like that, because I was in the same boat as you. I was like, it looks like crap. It's got a vertical thing. We need to change it a little bit. And I need to shout out, what's her name? Dem.
Mhm.
on the Calamaris group on Telegram. Without her, wouldn't have been able to do this. She
Mhm.
pointed everything I needed to figure out. So it's only one line. It's only one line.
That's good.
Calamaris is like horizontal instead of sorry, top instead of side. You set the vertical, you set it to top, it
Mhm.
automatically makes it horizontal because that's Calamaris 3.3 and not Calamaris 3.2.
Right.
3.3 completely changed. Uh, yeah, she showed me how to do it because she did it first and she does it even better. And there was a poll recently on the Calamaris group.
Mhm.
Should they include music in the installer? um, cracked software, anyone? Piracy installers, anyone? Razer 1911, anyone?
Oh god.
Core ISO, anyone? Dude, doing that because they used to embed games in Calamaris. A game you can play like Tetris or whatever while
Okay.
the system was installing. Endeavor did that at some point and they
Mhm.
stopped it. But I'm like, no, don't let the user touch anything while the system is installing because if anything goes wrong, so yeah, no. But they wanted to show the power of Calamaris. You can
Right.
embed anything, whatever you want in it. It doesn't matter. You can even include embed a YouTube video. That would
Eh.
be interesting because that doesn't require user input.
Mhm.
You could just blast your distro in front of the user will start the installation. He wants to get up, and then suddenly he hears video playing. I'm like, oh, what the hell? It's funny. Calamaris is funny, but under the hood, I need to admit one thing. It's
Mm.
still not good enough under
Uh-huh.
the hood. Like when it comes to encryption, you have to do manual partitioning.
Right.
If you do auto partitioning, encryption is not so great.
Right.
Uh, and ZFS needs a lot of work. There's a lot of users who use ZFS. I don't, but there's a lot of users who use ZFS for their NAS storage or whatever.
Mhm.
It's still funky in Calamaris. So uh, for advanced installs, I recommend users to do a regular Arch install because the Arch install is on the ISO.
Mhm.
Even on XeroLinux, it's there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't remove that package. So users,
Okay.
if they don't want to use Calamaris, they can opt to use Arch install. The only thing is they will end up with regular Arch. They won't end up with XeroLinux
Right.
because
Right.
I didn't program it that way. But they can still install pure Arch using the Arch install using XeroLinux ISO. Uh,
Have you looked into whether you can make like a Zero Linux install fit into Arch install or just it would be too much work?
yes, actually, Eric Dubois shows how to do that.
Okay.
You can modify the scripts.
Yeah. I know you could modify. I just wasn't sure if it was too much work to get it done
I
or
can modify that. But I'm not about that.
that's
So
fair.
I don't want to encourage. I just tell people you want pure Arch because a lot of users come and tell me we don't want XeroLinux, but I downloaded XeroLinux, so I want just pure install. Like, okay, you have the Arch install script, just run it. It's right there. Go to a TTY and run it. You would get a pure Arch, and then you select whichever does. Someone on the community, on the
Mhm.
XeroLinux community, is trying to do exactly what you just said.
Okay.
Trying to embed Arch install with XeroLinux, and then they have at this point they have their selection of whatever they want to install. They want to install GNOME, i3, BSBWM, whatever.
Mhm.
Those I will not have any customizations for. But if they choose to install GNOME, XFCE, or KDE, they
Mhm.
will come with my customization.
Okay.
So he's trying to work on that. Whenever it happens, it happens. He's doing it on his free time. He has university right now
Fair enough. Yeah.
and all that. But this is what he's trying to do.
Mhm.
It might happen. If it happens, I'm gonna announce it. If it doesn't, but yeah, I'm working as hard as I can. I'm crunching every moment I have power on XeroLinux
Mhm.
and trying to do those meetups and my podcast, my weekly podcast. on Saturday, I have my podcast. Immediately after that, I have Matt's podcast. So, because I'm a guest host on his podcast now,
Oh, that's cool.
I have two podcasts, one after the other,
Mhm.
crunching those. Uh, because Saturday they give us 6 hours of power because it's the weekend.
Mhm.
So I use those 6 hours to do as much damage as I can, as they say. Uh, and Sunday, of course, it's family day. I cannot do anything.
Mhm.
By the way, happy Easter.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
If you
I
celebrate.
was also my birthday fell on Easter this year as well. That was on the Sunday. Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday fun day.
Mm.
And it was really fun day.
I did absolutely nothing. I'd already seen my family the weekend before because they were going away like for that weekend. But I'm 25 now, so
when you get into your 40s,
yeah.
a birthday becomes just another number.
I've not cared about my
Uh,
birthday since I turned 18, so nothing really changes for
yeah.
me.
Well, for me, since I turned 40, I'm like, what does that mean? 42, 43, 44, 50? Doesn't mean anything.
50 sounds a
But
bit scary.
no, 50, dude, if you see my dad, he's like 70, 75.
Hmm.
He still jumps like a rabbit.
That's good then.
Knock on wood. He's quite a healthy person.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but it depends on the person, of course.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not everybody ages the same,
yeah.
uh, and different areas of the world they age differently.
Mhm.
Depends on the weather. Depends on pollution, and depends on a million things.
Mm, mm, mm.
But me, I am thanks to Linux, and I'm gonna say this from the bottom of my heart. Like Linux is the only thing keeping me sane. Some people say Linux turns me insane because it's constantly tweaking and fixing. And well, if you're in in a country that is in a bad situation like mine, it's the only thing that will keep you sane.
Right, right.
I keep working on XeroLinux. I keep learning new stuff, testing new things, always tweaking, always doing. That's time away from the news and all
Yeah.
the negativity that surrounds me and everything. So yeah, it's I need Linux in my life right now. Without it, I'm completely cuckoo.
Yeah, I think
Uh, with with
it's
with
definitely a good
that
idea
being
to
said,
have. Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's. Some people say like escapism isn't a good thing. You should probably just face the problem. But there are some problems you can't really face. There are some times where a problem is too big, and it is a good idea to have some time away from it and just focus entirely on something else that you enjoy and is just time away where you can just forget that all of that's happening.
Exactly. And I love Linux. And
Mm.
when people say, I updated this, it broke everything, I hate Linux. No, by breaking and you trying to fix, you're learning.
Hmm.
All that is knowledge that you're gaining. So, like me, I used to run a computer store, which I had to close due to this situation. That's why I need as much help as possible. Uh, So if you have a computer store, that's knowledge for you to potentially fix customers' computers.
Hmm.
Like I learned that I had because of the PipeWire issue that happened to me a few days ago
Mm.
because of an update. I realized that because I had this extra line in the pipewire.conf in my home directory, it was causing PipeWire to go on a loop.
That's always fun.
So the more you learn, the
Mm.
more you learn is good. Uh, That's why I need to keep XeroLinux alive.
Mhm.
I it's a passion project. It's no longer a hobbyist project. It's growing. It gets a lot of community support. I can no longer call it. I'm not allowed anymore to call it a hobbyist distro because if it was a hobby, it would have been only me.
Right.
Now, since a lot of people uh, are helping and it's getting a lot of donations to keep it alive, I need to remove the hobbyist part. Uh, and who knows? Maybe in the future, I might grow to a certain. And here's what people think. People think like if I no longer can maintain the distro, I'm gonna kill it. No, I'm not.
Mhm.
We'll find a replacement person that will take care of it and keep it alive after that. I'm not gonna kill the project. It's too good to kill.
Mhm.
And then from there on, they can make it grow whichever way they want. But the XeroLinux name should remain. I will give away the domain name, the website, whatever.
Mhm.
But as long as it lives on, I'm not like those maintainers that okay, I'm leaving the project and they kill it, like Solus, for example.
Yeah, I
If
did
you watch
hear
DT's
about
video,
Solus recently. I heard about the Distro Watch page being deleted, but I didn't know that like it pretty much hadn't been maintained for ages anyway. So
since the 2 years, they haven't released an ISO in 2 years.
okay, yeah, that explains it.
Their forums have been down since November.
Mhm.
But the there was a lady in the team that says it's not dead. It's just dormant. It's
Uh huh.
because the guy who founded the Solus left the project,
Right.
and he left everyone in the lurch,
Mhm.
not knowing what they how to and they have a limited package repository, so
Mhm.
it's not like they have access to Arch repositories or whatever
All right,
repositories.
because they're a
Uh,
independent distro, aren't they?
they are an independent distro, yeah.
It is kind of sad
They
to
use
see.
their own package manager,
Mhm.
EOPKG.
Yeah, it is kind of sad to see like there's not that many independent distros out there. Really, there's like what we have.
I can tell you of one
Mm.
only in my mind, KOS.
Well, obviously you've Arch, Debian, no, Gentoo, sorry, Arch, Debian, Gentoo,
Oh
Void,
yeah, those. Yeah, there's very few.
yeah,
Void,
yeah,
PBSD, Open.
Alpine.
Oh, but those are not Linux. Those are not Linux. Yeah,
There's like five of them. Yeah, there's like five independent distros.
yeah, but within those, there are independent also distros that
Sure, sure.
don't depend on Arch repositories or anything. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
KOS, they have their own.
Mhm,
You got CachyOS.
mhm.
You got many that don't, like Manjaro, for example. They have their own forks of the Arch repositories that they maintain.
Right, but Manjaro's
Uh,
still like based on the Arch repos. It's just a delayed version of the Arch repos.
delayed, so they maintain their own fork of the Arch repositories,
Mm-mm. Ubuntu does the
just
same
like
thing.
KOS and CachyOS. They take the packages from the Arch repos,
Yeah,
freeze them, and they control which versions
yeah,
they
yeah,
they
yeah.
ship.
Yeah, Ubuntu does the same thing
A
with
lot of a
Debian
lot
as
of
well.
people
Where yeah,
a lot of people suggested that for XeroLinux.
mhm.
They were like,
That's a lot of work.
yeah, they were like, KDE sometimes ships a lot of broken packages.
Mhm.
Why don't you fork KDE all the, I don't know, 1,200 KDE packages and maintain them yourself? I was like,
Yeah.
when I get more than 12 hours of power a day, I might just do that.
Well, the other
If I
problem
get
is
only 4 hours every day with 6 hours on Saturday, uh, I can't do that. So,
the other problem
yeah,
is
it's an
hosting
idea.
repos like that is very expensive.
Yeah. Also, as I was talking to Buxtree, I was like, what if I fork? What if I fork the Hyperland
Mm.
repo? It was like, yeah, go ahead. It's the recommended way of doing it
Mhm.
because he pushes commits like drunk person, as I call it.
That's the one way to put
Tack
it.
tack 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 tack. All the time, commits. I was like, why don't I
I
create two forks, one on the dev
Mhm.
portal and
Mhm.
one on the public portal. Dev portal is where I test everything. If it's stable-ish, I push to the stable one,
Mhm.
and then I continue doing that. And then I saw it move to the Arch repositories. I was like, okay, no need to do that. I'll use the Arch repository one
It
because,
looks.
as from what Vuxry told me,
Mhm.
it's the one they push the least amount of
Right.
commits to. And because we're not getting it's not getting the latest commits
Mhm.
directly, so it's usable. It's more
Yeah.
usable than the Git version. So it was like, if you
Don't
want to
use the Git
create,
version. That's a bad
yeah, don't
idea.
use the Git version. And if I would release a Hyper Zero,
Mhm.
I will for NVIDIA users, if they start asking, I'm going to tell them there is this package. Go to the wiki, and he was and Vuxry was like, okay, create the Hyper Zero,
Uh-huh.
but link people to our Discord for support.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was thinking, your Discord is super technical. New users are gonna go there, and it's as if they're reading Klingon, trying to read Klingon language,
Mhm.
or it's because all the people there are so knowledgeable
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
so geeky and nerdy and into that. Maybe new users will get overwhelmed.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I need to balance the two, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna send users at first to their Discord. If
Mhm.
I get complaints that they can't understand anything, I'm gonna say, well, that's all I can do. I don't understand Hyperland. I
Mhm.
don't use Hyperland. So you,
Mhm.
but they will ask me, why did you create Hyperland if you're not gonna support it? I'm like, only created because you were asking for a window manager
Yeah, yeah.
and whatever. I'm sure they're gonna tell me, so why didn't you go with i3 or BSPWM or whatever, something more usable? Like, because it's XeroLinux. You don't
Mhm.
come to XeroLinux and get the standards
Yeah, come to XeroLinux for
that everybody
usable.
ships. You want something usable, not super special. Go to Archcraft. Archcraft has i3,
Mhm.
BSPWM, DWM, whatever, all X11 based. XeroLinux is special.
Mhm.
It ships a special window manager. Then for support, special support directly to the creators. Go directly to the creators.
Mhm.
I'm like that. I don't want to do things that other people do
Right.
because what would differentiate me? XeroLinux KDE edition, XFCE edition, and GNOME edition are basically standard desktop environments with just the Zero Hello tool and the
Mhm.
Rice on top.
Yeah.
That's it. Two packages that make XeroLinux what it is. People think it's a complete different thing, but that's the reality. It's a
Mhm.
Rice
Mhm.
plus the Hello tool that allows you to tweak or fix. Like in my Hello tool, I have the key fix. It allows you to fix all the Arch Linux key issues. When you
What do you?
update the database, it gives you the signature issue key
Uh-huh.
expired, whatever.
Mhm.
This is a fix for that. Sometimes you're downloading and you're updating your system. The update is slow. You just
Mhm.
update the Arch Linux mirror list.
Mhm.
I have a button for that. You want to use ZSH, not Bash. There's a button to switch with Oh My ZSH and power level 10K. People who love Bash but don't like the regular look of Bash, there's Oh My Bash,
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. It's a lot of tweaking like that users love about
Mhm.
my tool. They don't have to, because they're new users. They like to click a button,
Yep.
let it do its thing. Uh, so I'm like them. That's why I created it. I like to click a button and have it do everything. I know
Mhm.
I wrote the whole scripts behind it and I spent days and hours reading on how to do that.
Mhm.
But once you do it, it's easy. Click, click. That's awesome. Like the Manjaro Hello
Mhm.
tool. It's mostly links to their forums. That's nothing special. It's link to a forum post, link to a forum post, link
Mhm.
to a forum
Mhm.
post. That's not and links and links to settings inside the desktop. I don't
Uh-huh.
like that. It's like just open settings and go browse.
Yeah.
Why have a shortcut to everything? I understand it can be easier for users to get there. They don't want to look.
Mm.
But for me, it's just offer something outside the box, not within the box.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm working on all these things on XeroLinux while learning more about Linux. But I
Right.
don't read much. That's why I love your videos, because you give me some of the information I need in video form.
Mm-hmm.
And the video you created about theming, what not theming, the underlying things of KDE that
Oh, that
KDE
one. Yeah, that
uses.
one.
Yeah, one was really interesting because I didn't know what went into actual theming and which applications use what themes used, and
For anyone who
you were
hasn't
right.
seen the video, the answer is it's a mess. There's like 5 different things that will go into it.
That's that I wanted to say that explains why a lot of themes are broken. Theme one, they use this, but they don't use the fallback. How do they ignore the fallback? I don't get it. In your video, you said that there's a fallback system where if they don't have that part, it falls back to
Yeah,
I forgot the
so
name of it.
if they don't have the K color scheme, I think it was. Yeah, so if you're on a
Yeah.
desktop that doesn't have K color scheme, which is anything that isn't KDE, it falls back to Breeze. But Breeze is a light theme, so if you're using a dark theme and the default is falling back to Breeze, then you're gonna have this mix and match of a light and a dark theme.
Yeah, so a lot of themes have this issue.
Mhm.
They fall back to Breeze, and it's half white, half light, half. But Breeze does have Breeze Dark.
Yeah, but it
So
defaults to the light version, so
yeah, it defaults to the light version. That's why sometimes you apply a theme, they have to ship both the Aurorai, as they call it in KDE, uh, Aurorai, whatever, Aurora. Uh, they have to ship both. So one is to fall back. If it falls back to the light to Breeze light theme, Aurora will bounce it back somehow. It's a big mess. It's a big mess. Like with a Capuchin theme, as you saw in the pictures, it's very well done. It's a theme like Dracula and Capuchin and a couple of others. I forgot their names. They do everything correctly on the KDE side. On the GTK side, okay, I have one bad thing to say about one of your videos. Your
okay.
reaction videos, to DT. When you reacted to his video and you just went to the GNOME Look or whatever website and you said, okay, GTK4 themes do exist. You should have done your research better on that one because GTK4 themes that do exist, they're using hacks. A shit ton of hacks to
Right,
make
but that doesn't
them.
change what I don't think there's anything wrong with relying on hacks to theme something.
They, dude, you're talking to a distro maintainer here. They break immediately. It's worse than KDE. They break immediately if the application that's being themed gets an update.
Right, but
because of the hacks, it's like gradients.
Right,
It's
but
like
GNOME
using
theme is
gradients.
generally broken anyway, so
Well, up to GTK3, it was good. It was
I didn't say
very good.
GTK4 theming was good and works well, but it definitely GTK4 theming is absolutely there.
It's very clunky. GTK4 is very clunky because they're trying to bypass the libadwaita limitations. And like, for example, application in libadwaita have semi-rounded corners in some areas with a radius of, I think, 8 or 16, I forget. No, 8, I think. 8 is the default. They have a radius of 8. When you apply a GTK4 theme, sometimes some GTK4 themes, what happens is they grow horns. So they switch from rounded to corner, 90-degree corners, and you get this annoying shadow that they cannot fix because it's a hack. When you're dragging windows, You get this annoying shadow that okay, your window is on this screen, but the shadow is stuck on that one, or it takes it jumps. So it's not a smooth animation. It's because they're using hacks. We can say GTK4 themes exist and leave it at that. If you dig deep, you will start. And I cannot recommend a GTK4 theme for a libadwaita based app because it's broken. It's more broken than GTK3 ever was. Because they're using hacks and gradients is a hack on top of a hack on top of a hack on top of a hack. So what they do in gradients is they create a CSS that overrides another CSS. So I'm like, but users want accent colors. So they're using accent colors. If they use accent colors extension with gradients app, so it's an override on top of an override on top of an override. So
But
yeah,
does
when it
it
comes
work?
to GNOME, well, they work ish. And it introduces a lot of, because they're hack on top of a hack on top of a hack. When you're dragging windows around with GTK4 themes and libadwaita themes, you're gonna notice that it's not as responsive because hack on top of a hack on top of a hack. So that introduces jitter, whatever it's called, into your dragging of stuff. I tried because XeroLinux is all about the eye candy. It used to be called the eye candy lover's wet dream. That was a tagline for XeroLinux. But if I can't ship that on GNOME, it no longer applies because I'm limited with libadwaita. That's why on the XeroLinux GNOME edition, it's libadwaita dark. And I need to explain one thing. There was a review of XeroLinux where a guy pointed out that for a distro that talks about consistency, there's inconsistency when launching GTK apps, which I will have to say, if it's a libadwaita app, it falls back to libadwaita dark, because the Leyen theme that I ship currently on XeroLinux he stopped maintaining the Leyen GTK theme because of libadwaita. He was like, instead of shipping hacks, I'll leave it at that. GTK3 and GTK3 only. So if it's a GTK4 libadwaita app, it will fall back to libadwaita dark. Good thing that I set it to dark, or else you will be blinded by the light theme, because by default libadwaita is at light.
I think the problem with libadwaita is, so okay, if you go back and look at light themes in Windows XP, Windows Vista, things like that, they weren't blindingly bright. I think the problem with libadwaita is they try to get as close to white as possible. Stop it. There are other light colors that are not just blindingly white. Use a light gray, use a light brown, use something that isn't white.
Yeah. Why does everything default to light? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Breeze defaults to light, libadwaita to light. Come on, people. The age of light is gone. But yeah, so GNOME, it's out of my hands. You still want to customize XeroLinux GNOME edition, go ahead. But if you break it, it's on you. XFCE, on the other hand, is GTK2/3. Right? You can theme as much as you want out of it. It will work. It's GTK apps. If you try to use Qt apps on XFCE, then you're gonna run into issues, because XFCE is very opinionated when it comes to its library. You use Qt5CT and Qt6CT to be able to theme Qt apps, but don't expect them to be working correctly. It's like using Qt apps on GNOME 44 right now. So stick to GTK apps and most applications you install via the Flatpak are all GTK apps, based apps. But here's the thing, I want to ask you.
Sure.
Do you agree with this hypothesis that when you watch the Nicolo video, you're gonna understand what I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about because he mentions it. The GNOME apps,
Right.
circle of apps, because they have the GNOME Circle.
Uh-huh.
Uh, the GNOME Circle apps are better than the KDE Circle apps, which is KDE Gear in
Mm.
KDE land. It's called KDE Gear. You
Mm-hmm.
agree that the GNOME ones are much more polished than the KDE ones?
I
Let's see
can't.
if you're gonna say the same thing I did.
I don't have enough experience messing around with the
Okay.
applications to really say one way or the other.
So you're the wrong person to ask
Yeah, I
that
might be
question.
the wrong person to ask. From what like my
But
brief like look at it, it seems like they're more like one thing GNOME has going for it because everything is based around libadwaita. Everything seems more consistent.
coherent,
That's for sure.
coherent and
Yeah, coherent,
consistent.
consistent. Yeah, yeah.
And I do agree. I do agree. The reason KDE's apps are so all over the place is because okay, they're using the same libraries, the Qt libraries,
Mm-hmm.
uh, using Qt libraries willy nilly. It's like not like because here's the thing that KDE need to learn from GNOME:
Mm-hmm.
have guidelines, have strict guidelines,
They do have
because KDE
guidelines.
is
It's
very
just
loose.
they have guidelines. It's just you don't have to
They're
read
very
them.
loosey goosey,
Yeah,
loosey
yeah.
goosey. Sometimes being strict does good things.
Mm-hmm.
Look, even a GNOME developer like Nicolo
Mm-hmm.
is envious of that. So uh, that should be a sign for KDE developers to get their act together
Mm-hmm.
once Qt6 is out. I'm not saying immediately, just after Qt6 is out, to make KDE more attractive. Uh, Set strict guidelines a little bit. I'm not saying be as strict as GNOME, because if you become strict as GNOME, people will hate you. But you need to be a little bit more strict, because that way your apps are going to be more consistent. More, but the problem I used to have with KDE is everything was based on the Breeze thing. Every app that was created for KDE was Breeze, 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 because this is their internal theme.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the only theme they maintain. So there's Oxygen, but Oxygen died a long time ago, right? I don't remember.
I couldn't tell you when that disappeared.
Oxygen, I think, is still there, but less maintained than Breeze. Breeze is
Uh,
their main.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they base everything on the
Last
only
stable
thing
release
they
was 5 years
maintain.
ago.
Yeah. So, but well, just be consistent with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking you to be inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Just be consistent with that. Like GNOME are consistent with their colors, with their circle set of applications.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said on my podcast, people think that I only use KDE. Sometimes I get so overwhelmed with KDE, I need to fire up my GNOME virtual machine just to get a little bit of peace, because it's just works.
Mm-hmm.
Like with KDE is like Dolphin. Sometimes you right click to git pull or git whatever, because I have the git plugins installed in Dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
It just decides to crash. Nautilus Nautilus does not do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that are very okay.
Mm-hmm.
GNOME just works. GNOME just works. If you, the moment you start installing a ton of extensions, you're introducing instability
Right.
into a stable OS. That's a known fact. There are a few extensions that will always work. And I'm not talking about Blur My Shell because and Dash to Dock, because those two questionable. But other
I
plugins like Caffeine and GS Connect, they
uh,
will always work because they update their extensions to work with the next major version a week before
right, right.
during the beta stages. So don't install too many extensions. Use GNOME as me. GNOME is Mac OS. If you use it
That's
as
fair.
it was intended to be used without modifying it,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be super stable.
Mm.
I'm not talking about the Wayland part of things. I'm talking about the X11 part of things.
Uh-huh.
When you go to Wayland, then because Wayland itself is incomplete as of today's video, uh, you're going to introduce a lot of instability.
Right,
But if you
right,
stick
right.
to X11, which is tried and true and works,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to have any issues. So I'm like, I consider Zero G.
Mm-hmm.
Zero G is the more stable version of XeroLinux
Uh-huh.
because it uses GNOME.
Mhm.
I just tell users, do not go willy-nilly installing extensions. You start installing extensions, it's on you. You're introducing instability to GNOME. GNOME is meant to be used that way and that way only.
Right, but what about all the extensions
I
that you added?
those I tell users this, like I told my users,
Mhm.
GNOME 44 is coming on Arch. Disable dash to dock, disable blur my shell, disable. I told them to disable a certain amount of
Right,
extensions.
okay, that makes sense.
Because the way I include extensions on XeroLinux, I build them from AUR. I don't
Ah,
include them
right.
from the extensions website. And I ship also extensions manager because even if it's installed from the AUR, you can still update it from the extension manager.
Mhm.
Because the extension manager does not care where you installed your extensions from.
Mhm.
That's the neat part of that application.
Mhm.
So disable those applications if you, once the GNOME 44 gets released. Only update, enable them one by one, and see if they still work. If they don't
Mhm.
work, it's a process of elimination.
Right.
Enable, it breaks, disable. Enable, it works, keep it enabled.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all that needs to be done.
Mm.
But yeah, I included 13 different extensions.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a lot of
It's a lot.
extensions. I know. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you which they are. No, not this one. ISOs and tools, Zero G. I include Arc Menu, GS Connect, Blur My Shell, Dash to Dock, Caffeine, Pop Shell,
Mhm.
Cover Flow Alt Tab, Clipboard Indicator, Gesture Improvements. That's the one that mimics the gestures from Wayland to
Mhm.
X11. Arch Linux updates indicator and rounded window corners.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the rounded has to be disabled for GNOME 44
Mhm.
because hasn't been updated yet. Arch Linux update indicator. I am in talks with the developer, so he said it's ready for GNOME 44.
Mhm.
Gesture improvement just got updated for GNOME 44.
Mhm.
Clipboard indicator. It doesn't. It's version agnostic. It's just enabling Clipman, basically. GNOME clipboard, whatever.
Yep, yep, yep.
Coverflow Alt Tab works. Just got updated for GNOME 44. Pop Shell as well. And that's weird because Pop Shell is Rust now, 100% Rust, because it's Pop OS and
Mhm.
Pop OS moving to Rust with
Mhm.
their new desktop environment. So they
I'm
converted
curious to see
that to
what's going to
Rust.
happen with Pop Shell, like when they actually do
I just
shift
built it.
over.
I just built an update last night,
Uh-huh.
and it's all Rust. It pulls from Create.io.
No, what I'm saying is because they're working on their Cosmic DE, which is separate from GNOME. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen, like maybe a year or two from now, when they're getting ready to start actually um,
Oh
shipping that
yeah,
on their desktop. Pop
yeah.
Shell is
I'm
still
wondering that
TypeScript. I don't
because
know. Wait, I don't know.
I'll tell you something about
Okay.
Pop Shell. It ships as a dependency a power tool.
Uh huh.
A pop power menu, pop power tools, or something like
Uh
that.
huh.
It's it's weird because it's a battery monitoring thing. It's a why does it have it as a dependency? But I ship it because it is part of it.
Hmm.
So Yeah, that's ready for GNOME 44. They already pushed the
Yeah, that makes sense.
the version upgrade.
Because they'd be working
Caffeine
on.
is agnostic.
They'd be getting ready for
Uh,
Pop! OS 23.04, which would be sometime, maybe. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Or they'll be getting ready for
Dash to Dog.
23.10 at some point.
Will they? Uh, Oh, I don't think so. Well,
Well, it's
they
some
might.
like GNOME. The Cosmic D is not going to be ready for quite a while, so they're
For
still going to
another
be on
3
GNOME for a
years
bit.
at least. They might as well update to 2304.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what
Anyway,
the next. It doesn't matter.
Dash to Dock and Blur My Shell need to be disabled and
Mhm.
tested.
Mhm.
I don't know. I didn't. We didn't get GNOME 44 on Arch yet. I can't test. Well, I can if I install the unstable branch,
Yeah.
but we both know what unstable means. Unstable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
yeah.
arc menu has been already updated for GNOME 44, so I removed gradients and GDM settings because GDM settings is a hack, and now GDM is transparent and shows the wallpaper, the desktop wallpaper blur.
That's cool.
So no need to customize that. And gradients is just a hack. I don't want to give people a hack to enable on top of a hack. They can install it from the AUR if they wish.
Mm-hmm.
And I went a level above. I
Mm-hmm.
don't ship. You know how all Arch-based distros ship PAMAC as their GUI.
Yeah.
I decided to ship GNOME software on
Wow.
GNOME. I wanted to stick as close to GNOME as possible, and because think about it.
Mhm.
This is how my mind works.
Right.
You're getting an inside feed into my mind. GNOME is meant to be stable.
Sure.
If I ship PAMAC, you're gonna have access to unstable or packages they don't know what to do with.
Sure.
Whereas the GNOME package manager does not show you AUR packages. So you can only install AUR if you type yay or whatever. You should know what you're installing.
Mhm.
So I hide somewhat the AUR from users on the GNOME edition so they don't break GNOME.
What do you offer on
But
the KDE version?
no, I'm talking about GNOME
No,
here
I know
because
that,
I'm
but
targeting.
But what do you offer on the KDE
It's
version?
PAMAC. It's PAMAC.
Okay.
No, on KDE it's PAMAC, and on
Mhm.
XFCE it's PAMAC. But on
Mhm.
GNOME, specifically GNOME, because I want it to be the more stable version of XeroLinux, where users don't have the wild wild west access to the wild wild west. If they want access to the wild wild west, there is a utility,
Mhm.
but not everybody knows what it is. Only the people who know what it is, they will click on the icon in the dock and launch it.
Mhm.
It's called PackSeek. You made a video about PackSeek
I
a
did.
while ago.
Quite a while ago, yeah.
Way back when.
I think because you mentioned it,
Uh,
actually.
yeah, it's Menson. The developer is Menson,
Mm-hmm. Moson something.
from Manjaro. Oh no, not Manjaro. Endeavor.
Endeavor, yeah.
Uh, uh, so it's a neat TUI utility.
Mhm.
So if they want to install from the AUR, it's there. They just don't know if they don't know about the AUR. They're not gonna click on it and mess their system up.
Mhm.
But it's there. Uh, my whole goal with Zero G is you want something that doesn't move too much and
Mhm.
won't break. Just use Zero G.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I set the minimum RAM requirement to 8, so those people with potato laptops will not be able to install it because let's be realistic here. Okay, if GNOME, you can run GNOME with 600 megabytes out of the box using on a cold boot 600 megabytes. Let's say if somebody
Okay.
made a miracle and made it use only 600 megabytes on cold boot.
Right.
Are you going to be using 600 megabytes all the time? Only?
No.
You launch just launch your browser.
Exactly. You launch your browser. Yeah.
Open your tabs. You're already at 2 gigabytes right there and then.
Yeah.
So people are being unrealistic here. They say, "I want GNOME can use only 600 megabytes." Yeah, on cold boot without you running anything, but if you run anything, it's going to start using up. Okay, when they say 600 megabytes on cold boot, it's better than 2 gigabytes on cold boot, because if it
Well,
uses 2
yeah.
gigabytes on cold boot, they have access to less memory. When this is GNOME we're talking about. GNOME is notorious for using at least a gigabyte on cold boot, between 800 and 1 gigabyte on cold boot. We couldn't get it to run at less. We tried. If we wanted to ship you a broken GNOME, we would have, but we don't want to ship a broken GNOME. So it's going to use 1 gigabyte. But because I'm realistic, I know that when they open a browser, it's going to use this. I cannot set the installer to allow you to install it on 2 gigabyte system, because at which point your swap memory has to be like 32 gigabytes, because you have so little RAM that you need 32 gigabytes of swap memory to be able to function correctly. I'm like, nah, I need to be realistic. You need to have a minimum of 8.
4
Then you can do
gigabytes
whatever you want.
might be possible and usable, but it'd be very much pushing it.
8 gigabytes?
No, 4 gigabytes.
The 4 gigabytes. Yeah, 4 gigabytes. I
It's-
tried it on a virtual machine with 4 gigabytes. It became unresponsive after
Okay.
opening. I opened up the usual applications I open, which is my browser,
Yeah.
WebCord, the file manager, and terminal. For applications, I was pushing it. I was using 3.7 gigabytes.
Oh, yeah,
already.
okay.
So I'm like, nah. I'm realistic. 8 gigabytes minimum. I don't have 8 gigabytes. Like yesterday, I had a user on my Discord telling me, I have a single core system with 4 gigabytes. Which version of XeroLinux can I install? I was like, none.
The
Go hunt for a window manager.
maybe
or stick to the
XFCE.
TTOY.
Maybe XFCE will run, but that single
Nah,
core system's
realistically,
gonna
it
be
will
rough.
run and then will crash.
The RAM's not the problem; it's the CPU. Like 4 gigabytes
Yeah,
is totally
it's gonna
fine for
lag.
XFCE.
It's gonna lag like crazy.
Yeah.
I told him use a window manager or stick to the TTY.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm going to Arco DWM. Oh, okay, it's a window manager.
Yeah,
so
that'll
you're fine.
work. Yeah.
This DWM I think uses around 350 megabytes out the box. So it's pretty good. And this window manager, what people don't understand is window managers are desktop environments. They just don't contain the rest of the desktop environment. It's just desktop environment with all the GUI stuff pulled away. So you're basically in a terminal all the time. Just or TUIs basically. You're in TUIs all the time. Some people go the extra length, like you do, for example. Your file manager switches between Thunar and on Awesome, I guess. It used to be on Awesome. So your file
PC Man
manager
FM, not
switches
Thunar.
between what?
PC Man FM.
PC Man FM. Oh, it's confusing because they look the same.
They do look the same.
So your PC Man FM, you switch between PC Man FM and terminal based one.
Yeah.
So if you want to run on a potato laptop, you would go TUI. Sorry, TUI 100% of the time. 100% of the time. That way, you'll be using maximum of 1 gig. Maximum of 1 gig. Because I know a user. He's funny. He's the one who made me aware of that.
Okay.
He uses a TUI browser. You know, DT, how he keeps showing us his org stuff, how he works on those in terminal with Emacs and stuff. Emacs, Doom Emacs.
Yeah.
He browses the internet. He's like, it's distraction-free browsing. He watches his YouTube in the terminal. Oh, not terminal. He
loads
has
it up.
an RSS feed in terminal with something called. I'll tell you what it's called.
And then does he
I have it
load the
on my
video with like MPV or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot the name of it, but it's an app. I don't have it here. Anyway, it's an app that he pulls. It shows him the RSS feed in terminal, and then he clicks. It opens an MPV.
Mm.
It's a neat. He lives his life in terminal.
Uh-huh.
He's got 6 screens, 6 monitors, and all his monitors. And to fill up the empty monitors, he pulls up bash pipes, C matrix, tree fetch, FM 6000. I'm like, okay, that's taking it to the extremes. And he showed me how many gigabytes he was using from his RAM. He was using 1.3 gigabytes with all these open. So okay, if I wanted users to go to the extremes, I would have called it XeroLinux Extreme Edition, Extremely Light Edition. I'm like, you can. He was just telling me that you can. If where there's a will, there's a way. You can do it. But nah, it's too much. It's stretching it too much. 1.3 gigabytes, and he had and I was like, yeah, but you have 128 gigabytes in your system. Why do you want to use only one?
Run virtual machines and the rest of it.
Yeah, it's like, I told him, do you do editing? Do you do After Effects? Do you do any of that? He was like, no. That's all what you see is all I do. I was like, so in your case, unused RAM is truly wasted RAM.
Yeah, look, unused RAM is bloat. If you're not using it, why do you have it?
28 gigabytes. What the hell?
Oh,
I told him I wish I had your gigabytes, but I use 12 gigabytes out of my 32. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You're using only one, and you're afraid to use more than one. I'm like, And then he told me that he's triple booting with Endeavor OS, Arco Linux, and Manjaro.
Right, but is he doing it at the same time? Why do you have 128 gigs?
Well, he says on Manjaro he uses approximately like between 6 and 8 gigabytes and whatever. He explained.
Right,
he was like, "This is the extreme minimal." This is the extreme minimalistic system when I need super quick to do my work.
Yeah.
I told him,
A minimal
you do all your work in terminal. He was like, yeah.
A minimal.
He uses Doom Emacs and everything in terminal. I'm like, okay, I'm not that kind of person.
A minimal system on a supercomputer.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. That's awesome.
Anyway, we have been talking for 2 hours already. Woo-wee.
Yeah, it's 1:47 right now, so it's getting close to that. But if you want to end off the show, we can do that.
Well, yeah, because I need to have breakfast.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's totally fair.
So all I want to say is I will end the thing is help XeroLinux survive, and if you have any ideas of what we can do to ameliorate or make XeroLinux better, you can join our Discord, and we have a section where you can throw out your ideas, and we sure could use some ideas for XeroLinux XFCE. Because the launch date is on May 15th. If you can throw some ideas, rising ideas I'm talking about, our way, that'll be helpful, because we cannot decide on a rice yet. Because it's complicated. We need somebody who understands XFCE. KDE is done. You've seen the screenshots. GNOME is done. There's only XFCE. It's coming. All 3 of them will have a new. There will be a new web page that I'm working on with someone on Discord. It's going to be when they're released, spins.zerolinux.xyz, where you can select between GNOME and XFCE. The flagship will be on the main page, which is KDE. And those are the projects for XeroLinux for the foreseeable future, with the new Zero Hello tool. And that's it. I will draw the line on the upcoming Hyper Zero when the Hyperland edition comes out sometime in 2024, when I can afford an AMD GPU, that is. if you want me to support it earlier, help me buy a AMD GPU. Not the shitty one either. We need a good one so I can flex. We need to flex. You have the
Absolutely.
6700 XT, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. It's a pretty good one, right?
Definitely a good one. Yes.
$400. So you got it for a lot more. I know.
You
Aussie
know,
dollars.
Pricing's fun right now. It's better
Yeah.
than it was a little bit.
Well, it's not like Voxry, who got his for what, $1,000?
Oh, that reminds me. There was someone in the comment section of that video who was like picking apart everything that Vaxry said. He was like, Vaxry's fake. Everything he says is a lie. And it's like this giant essay trying to be like, this is wrong, this is wrong. There's no way he paid this much money. How does he know perfect English if he's from Poland? Just like this, all of these ridiculous comments that don't make any sense.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of comments like that. But yeah, I found it for $349 actually. So if anybody can help me get that one, I'm not asking for the 6900 or the 6950 XT or the 7000 series. Although I would wish for the 7000
That would be
series.
nice.
I'm a future-proof person, and you buy the good one, and it will last you 10 years, not 2 years. If you buy something that lasts you only 2 years, then in 2 years you have to spend. So might as well have spent all that money early on. Got to be smart. Smart in the head. That's smart.
What? What? Is he gone? We lose him? I think we lost him. What a perfect time. Yeah, I think we just lost him. Well, okay, so you guys can go find XeroLinux over on the XeroLinux website. I'll leave it linked in the description. I froze? No, you froze. What? Wait. I'm gonna try leaving the call. Give me 1 second. Let's try this. And did I freeze? No, I didn't freeze. Okay. I don't know what's happened here. Something's happened. Anyway, I'm just going to end it. So check out the XeroLinux website. You better find all the stuff on XeroLinux there. I'll leave all of his links in the description down below. So go check all of that stuff out if you want to go and support it. We'll be doing a stream together next week with a bunch of other people. I don't know what is happening yet. So I don't think so. So, actually, I'll just restart Discord. We'll come. Oh, hello.
Yeah, you're back.
I don't know how. Yeah, nothing died on my side. I think.
For me neither.
Unless
just
wait.
Froze.
Yeah. Yeah, you froze on my side, so I don't know what happened there. That was weird.
You froze on my side. I froze on your side.
Yeah.
It's Discord being Discord. As of late, with Discord pushing all the features,
Yeah.
yeah, it started their video connection thing started taking a dive because now they have the this thing called channels and roles. They push that, and now they allow us to monetize. You know how they prefer to be the only people who are allowed to monetize, but their boosting system, their nitro, was not working as well as they intended it to be. So they're now charging us a premium when we charge other people. So they're collecting money on money. I'll pay them.
Before
So
you disappear,
you can offer tiers on Discord now, like Patreon.
That's cool. Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So, but it's not supported in my country. So, as usual, here's the thing:
mm,
outside Lebanon, our diplomas don't matter. Our driver's licenses don't matter. Nothing matters. So our passports require visas all over the globe. So if you have a Lebanese passport, you need a visa everywhere.
mhm,
Uh, so yeah, we don't exist. We cannot have PayPal. We
mhm,
cannot have Libera Pay. We cannot have anything online.
mhm.
So we're independent and sitting in our corner, being I don't want to support anyone. No, that kind of stuff. So I thank the Lord I still have access to my Irish bank account to be
Mhm.
able to use Stripe.
Oh, that's good
Uh,
then. Yeah.
so I connect everything to Stripe. That's
Mhm.
why I left Patreon, because Patreon require you to have a US checking account, based checking account to be able to use Stripe. Uh,
Huh. Okay.
yeah, trust me, you go there and you're gonna see. In Patreon, you click getting paid services, whatever. They have what's it called, PayPal
Mhm.
and credit card, and what else? What's it called? The other one, the one that didn't accept my papers, my verification papers, Pioneer.
Uh-huh.
So Stripe, I asked them. They sent me a link. They were like, "You need a US based checking account." I'm like, "Huh? I can use Stripe with any other service except yours." This is
That's weird.
basically the deal they have with Stripe.
Sure.
Whatever. So I decided to leave Patreon, and a lot of people from Patreon migrated to my either to LiberaPay. Someone on LiberaPay paid me a year in advance.
Wow.
$240. I'm like, hey, cool. And Kofi.
Mhm.
Kofi is amazing. Just if anyone wants to use a system to get donations, use Kofi,
Mhm.
because it's a social media network. You can connect with others, follow others, others follow you. You can interact with them, post your updates. Whereas LiberaPay's website looks like something from the 1990s.
Yeah, LiberaPay is a little bit rough. It works, but it's rough.
It works somewhat. Like Matt told me that he's got 61 cents that he has never received. It's been there forever, but he never, because you need to be, I think, above $5 a week to be able to receive anything.
Mhm.
Well, I'm thankful that I'm at 961 a week. So, but it's another service that works with Stripe,
Mhm.
so I'm good.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you,
Yes.
does Subscribe Star work with Stripe?
That's a good question.
Since you're the only one I know that uses Subscribe Star.
Um, I no, I think they got kicked off of Stripe. They use a bunch of other services. I don't have any idea if they
Oh.
would work for you.
And the other one, local. What's local?
Um, I think Locals does
It's.
Stripe.
I'll have to check it out.
I'm not
But
certain. Yeah, no one uses that for me. I just made an account ages back.
yeah, you have Patreon, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
and you got Bitcoin. Eh,
I just
like
threw
you
it in
have
there just in
Bitcoin.
case someone wanted it.
Yeah, but how do you do that?
What do you mean?
I don't deal with Bitcoin, so I don't know nothing about
Ah,
Bitcoin. So
you
how do you create a thing to get paid, and how do you withdraw the money? And
you make a wallet. People can send money to that address, and then you have to like find a market that you can sell on. I don't know what markets would
oh, it's
exist.
very difficult. Basically,
Yeah,
what you're
it's
saying
it's
is a very complex. Because
yeah,
I had someone join LiberaPay, but he wanted to donate in Bitcoin. Yeah, I
ah.
was like, I was like, Bitcoin with no, very difficult, very
Mhm.
very. He tried to convince me, but it's gonna take a long time to convince me.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but other than that, thank you for having me again. It's always fun to talk with you.
Mhm.
And I'll always keep watching your videos, and I
Thank
do
you.
watch them from beginning to end, contributing to your watch time. But I don't know how much that matters. But because you crossed the thing, but Uh, thank you for all the information you give us every 5 times a week. The patience you have to release a video 5 times a week.
I
Dude.
record in bulk. Earlier today I recorded 3 videos, so it's not like I'm recording and uploading every day. I'm recording stuff all in a group and then
Yeah, I know
spreading it out.
how it's done, but I, c- I cannot get myself to record one video a day, let alone 3.
Mhm.
I know it's not multiple days. Like you take a day, you shoot 3.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
other times you shoot 4, but enough for a week.
Yeah.
Uh, so I might start doing that if I have enough content in my head. But you are, I think you deserve like 3 million subscribers, not 3,000. Uh, uh, but how much ever you have. Uh, I don't look at people's subscriber count because
Mm.
I care about the content, not the
Yeah, that's fair.
subscriber count. Uh, your quality of content deserves millions
Thank you.
because not everybody puts in the time you do.
Mhm.
Because you do the research and stick by the research. Sometimes the research you do has a contradicting thing on the opposite side, but you do what you do,
Mhm.
and then if somebody wants to contradict, they're allowed to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But your content is amazing. I am addicted to it. Like every night, you know how in the YouTube app they allow you to download videos to
Mm.
watch them, and then they expire after 48 hours.
Yeah.
Uh, because I turn everything off at night, so I don't have internet at night. The first video I download is yours. The very first one is yours.
Thank you.
If it, but now I have a slight problem
Mm.
with DST. Not your problem, not an issue with you, but now because of DST, your videos used to come out at 11 p.m.
Oh,
my time.
right.
Now they're coming out at midnight my time.
Right.
So I'm like, the moment I turn off the internet, like, I don't want to download on 3G.
Mhm.
So, because we're limited to 6 gigabytes a month. 6 gigabytes a month.
Mhm.
So I cannot keep downloading videos on 3G. So
Yep. Yep.
I wait a few minutes after midnight before turning off the power because I'm waiting for your video.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
worth waiting a few minutes for your video to do it. But yeah, and then I download the random crap just to watch and fall asleep.
Mhm.
Your video, I cannot fall asleep during your videos because they're so interesting. They get my mind, the gears in my brain running. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
before
that I'm done.
Yeah, before you vanished, I was just mentioning your website and coffee. Is there anything else you wanted to direct
My
people towards?
website, Coffee, YouTube for a
Mhm.
podcast, weekly podcast. It's called Zero Bytes. And now that we have the membership,
Mhm.
for the memberships they will have early access 2 weeks prior to making the videos public.
Mhm.
Whenever I do meetups with you, or uh, I'm going to be inviting you soon to my own meetup. Uh, Meetups with Nick, you, Buxry. I already recorded the Buxry video. I just need to edit it because my volume was louder than his, or
Right.
his was louder than mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Linux Tube and all that. All that will be early access 2 weeks prior, and then after 2 weeks they will be made public.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, Plus the usual perks like the stickers and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's only $2.49, so it's a couple of bucks
Mhm.
to support the project. And we have super thanks and the usuals. We have LiberaPay and and fundraiser.
Sweet.
And the fundraiser now is no longer a goal-based thing because I reached my goal, but used it up already for last month.
Mhm.
So now everything, since when it's just like that, when you asking for funds, it doesn't reset at any
Right.
time. It
Right.
continues
Right.
going and going and going, even though you used all the previous funds.
Mhm.
Uh, so now I'm at $75,
Mhm.
and I need to raise 1,000 by the 30th. So it's gonna be a tough one. That's why I invited you guys on the thing.
Mhm.
Hopefully we can. But yeah, that's all we got. And of course my Discord. But if you go to my website, there's links to everything there.
Okay.
Yeah, and the upcoming release of XFCE. So yeah, May 15th, second anniversary edition, 2 years. XeroLinux will be 2 years old. Baby, it's going to take at 3 years old. It's going to be taking its first steps. It's going to be walking to Papa. Yeah.
Cool. As for me, the main channel is Brody Robertson. Do videos there 6 days a week. The gaming channel, I'm streaming some point. I don't know. You'll find out what's there. Check out the channel, Brody on Games. And the audio version of this, if you're watching the video, is available as an RSS feed and available on any podcast platform you'll find. Just search for Tech Over Tea and you'll find it. If you are listening to the audio version, you can find the video version over on YouTube at Tech Over Tea. How do you want to end the show? What do you want to say?
Stop the hate in Linux. Join up, join forces, create, and love.
Fair enough. I'm out.